Hey, this is Theresa.
And I'm Owen Video.
And we're on the Relationships and Revenue Show.
Hi there. Welcome to the Relationships and Revenue podcast with John Hewman.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Relationships and Revenue Show. I am your host, John Hewlin. So happy you decided to join us today. And I'm thrilled to have with me as my guests, Theresa and Owen from Owen Video. How are you guys doing today?
Really good.
We are doing well. Good to be here.
Pumped to be here.
All right. Now, do everyone a favor, because you're also going to be doing me a favor. I didn't want to attempt to butcher your last name because I've had the 5 letters of my last name butchered. So if you would help us out, pronounce it for us.
Yeah, my birth last name is Owen Hemsath, and I'm extremely proud of that name. So it's Hemsath, and it's pronounced exactly the way that it's spelled. But you know, it's funny. I had received an award from the state of California. I was recognized as the entrepreneur of the world of the world. That's how I tell the story. Entrepreneur of the year for the state of California. And when I flew out to Sacramento, I was in the nation's capital with all the politicians and all these business leaders, and they go to announce my name. They say, "An entrepreneur of the year is Owen." Hibbity Bob, hoobity boo, and then he calls another guy up. And he's like, "Can you pronounce that last name?" And he's like, "It's hashtag." It's like these two boomers up there struggling to pronounce a perfectly phonetic last name. And so I was in the back of the room waiting to make my entrance. I started clapping, and so I just got the room to start clapping. And then I walked up like I was this big to-do, and after that trip, actually on the plane ride home, I decided to change my professional name to Owen Video.
There you go.
And I did that for the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did that so that we could get past my last name and focus on what we're good at, and that's where we've been ever since.
Nice. So essentially, that's your stage name.
Yeah, I call it my professional name, my stage name. Sure.
Okay.
And the thing is that like we have a brand, we have a thing that we're building here, and we wanted to, number one, like keep some anonymity, which John, you've successfully destroyed. But
I did. Thank you.
No, I'm kidding. We answer this question all the time, but we did want to keep some anonymity. We've had people say unkind things to us on the web, trolls and whatnot. And I think even a couple of years ago, we had some guy say like he's going to come find. It's obviously a very disturbed person. You could tell by the pictures.
Sure.
But just kind of, we're glad that we've hidden ourselves a little bit from the public space, and we use the Owen Video name wherever we can.
Okay. All right. Well, now that I have that locked in my memory bank, I'll be sure now on it's just Owen Video. Got it. All right. Listeners, what you need to know about Owen and his wife, Theresa, besides the fact that they are amazing people, which they are, Owen and Theresa, they are creatives, they're entrepreneurs, and they're specifically focused on YouTube.
Yeah.
They are amazing at what they do. Owen is kind of the creative genius behind the whole thing, and you see him on camera a lot. Theresa is amazing in her own right behind the scenes. And trust me when I tell you, and I think Owen will agree with me, the people in front of the camera, they don't make it possible without the people behind the camera. So That's all of that's important. Very, very much important. Now, besides the fact that they are focused on business when it comes to YouTube, they're also focused on marriage because they have a YouTube channel focused on that as well as on marriage. Now, also, you guys are based in Salt Lake City, Utah, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
That's right. So they have many, many titles. They do many, many things. But as we talk about often on this show, they both have titles that I think they hold even higher regard. And that is, Owen is husband to Theresa and dad to 4. And Theresa is wife to Owen and mom to 4.
Look, just 4 that I know of.
Okay. 4 that you know of.
Right. There's a part of me that thinks
an insult on him or on me.
There's going to be. Sure. I always just fear that like one day like a 12-year-old would be at my door, that looks just like me and an X, and be like, Dad, but I'm kidding. No, we have 4 beautiful kids. My oldest is my stepson. When Theresa and I got married, she had a 2-year-old, and I became his father immediately. And then we have 3 of our own, and that's our motivating force. I remember being a young person. I've been fired from 22 different jobs, technically 21 different jobs, because the same company fired me twice.
Oh,
but
and that's a whole other story.
I knew from a young age, my early 20s, that I would not do well as an employee in someone else's company. I looked at my grandpa. My grandpa worked at JCPenney for something like 25, 35 years.
Wow.
To this day, the JCPenney retirement plan still pays my grandmother a check. That's how far back they go. My dad worked for UPS for a good 20 years before venturing out into entrepreneurialism. And I knew that I wanted to have kids because my dad every day drove to Los Angeles. We grew up in the city. I lived in a city called Long Beach. And my dad drove to LA every single day. And I never even saw him as a kid. In fact, when I was a kid, every night we would tell my mom, what color we wanted. And it was like blue, red, green, yellow. We didn't have too many choices, but what color we wanted. And we would tell my mom a color. And the next morning we would wake up and there would be a gumball on the windowsill in that color. And that was sort of like my dad's way of coming home late at night after we had gone to bed and saying I was here. And then, of course, leaving. He would leave early in the morning before we woke up. And so as a kid, I rarely saw him. And I remember as a young man, I want to be a father. Like, I want to be a dad. That was the driving force. And even in getting married, it's like, okay, it's time for me to get married. I want to have kids, And so entrepreneurialism and avoiding the job market was extremely important to me so that I could be there for my kids. And there are late nights and there are long weekends. And before COVID, there was traveling and all these things that would happen. But we are pretty active with our kids, and they get to see us every day. And sometimes I think to their own, they're not. I think they'd love to go a day where we're not around. But that's very important to us.
I kind of actually took a similar upbringing, but a different reaction to it. I also grew up in a working class family in Southern California. I was the only one in my family to graduate with a college degree. Oh, wow. And I ended up choosing to go the safe route, because I grew up in a pretty modest working class family. So I became a high school teacher, an English teacher, and did that for 13 years. I loved this, I loved obviously the profession itself. I loved teaching. I loved working with teens and so forth and writing. But I also liked the safety of it, the steady paycheck, that no matter if I had a good lesson that day or a bad lesson that day, that paycheck still came. But it was a whole different way of looking at money because, if we wanted to do something, if we wanted to get something, my mindset was always like, okay, well, what do we have to save to get there? Where Owen's entrepreneurial mindset was, well, what do we have to sell to get that? We don't have to change anything other than just sell some more things. And so it was for the first, how many years?
I think a couple years.
First 9 years, 10. Well, actually, no, I taught for 13. Okay. About first 9 years, I think, of our marriage was this like entrepreneur husband with this like government working wife and us doing life together. And it was an interesting dynamic.
It was at first it was really challenging because I think that you saw me as sort of maybe flagrant and irresponsible. Maybe you never said those words, but there was this, I think there was a sense of like, that's ridiculous, because my mindset was like, we can get whatever we want so long as we can pay for it. You know what I mean? Where you were kind of like save and wait and let life pass you by was the way I saw it. It was like, and never get it because there's going to be diapers, there's going to be baby food, there's going to be a thing that happens that eats up all your money. And so in the beginning, I think we both struggled with that.
He's definitely the dreamer.
Although we've always been like madly and passionately in love, I think. Sure. But there was that struggle. And then it wasn't until we like the numbers couldn't lie. It's like we got to this point where it's like, wow, look how much money we're making, and these were numbers I never thought to experience. I remember thinking when I was younger, like, it would be great to have $10,000 in my bank account, you know, like, wow, that would be amazing. And then I achieved that. And then I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great to have $20,000 in my bank account? And then when we got married, we were making 20 grand a month. And it's like, you go through these levels of like, wow, this is the new reality. And so we've always sort of, she's taught me a little bit about how to be responsible, and to look towards the future. And then I think I've taught her a little bit about, you know, how to go about accomplishing financial goals. Like, we don't sit around and wait by putting pennies into a 5-gallon jug of water. You know, like I always saw that in my parents' friends' houses. Like, there'd be this 5-gallon Sparklets water thing with their pennies in. Like, that's our vacation money, you know? So what, in 40 years, you're going to go to Hawaii, you know, for a day? You know, like that wasn't it for me. It's like, and we actually got to go to Hawaii in November, and we've taught each other a lot, and entrepreneurialism has opened those doors.
Yes.
Oh man, that's amazing. I love hearing that. I love hearing those stories, especially about how when you guys started, it was, I'm going to use this word, you didn't, but there were some conflicts just because of how you viewed life in general, specifically about how you viewed finances and how to get to the goals. But eventually you guys learned how to fuse those together and to come up with not just a new reality, but what's right for you as a couple.
Yeah.
Which is super important. Now, this whole idea of YouTube, we've got several entrepreneurs who are active listeners to the show, and they're always looking for new ways to improve and to get better. So what I'd really like you guys to do, if you don't mind, is to talk to them, especially to the entrepreneurs who know not just what YouTube is. I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about the one who realizes, okay, I need to do something with this. My message needs to get out there. I know my face and my voice need to be paired together and out there in a great way, but has no idea how to do it.
Yeah. You know, I would passionately say that YouTube is your only chance to make an impact in the world. Okay. Facebook is not going to do it. Instagram is not going to do it. Your blog is not going to do it. And I realize that's kind of an inflammatory statement, but let me just back up and sort of explain that for a second, right? Like, think about, you know, the Facebook Live scenario. Think about the best Facebook Live that you've ever seen, right? When was the last time you saw it? Okay. And how easily could you find it today? Right. When a Facebook Live pops up into your newsfeed, right? First of all, it's largely by chance that Facebook decided that for you, that this was something that you would enjoy. And even the best Facebook Live, like, I have people tell me all the time, oh, and that Facebook Live, when you announced that you were cancer-free, you know, I remember that, it was awesome. And I could ask them what I say. And they simply don't remember, right? They remember how they felt. They remember the energy, but the reality is it was a 10-minute video and they probably watched 2 minutes of it. Oh. Facebook Live is fleeting, and it is a lower performing mechanism than ever before. And so we say, do not waste your life on Facebook Live. These are your best years for uploading your legacy onto YouTube. YouTube is publicly accessible to the entire world. My biggest audience on YouTube is by far the United States, but secondary is the UK and India. Okay. Where people from around the world are watching my channel, watching my trainings, and learning how to implement from them. You know, compare that to Instagram, where you only see the same stuff you saw yesterday. You know, Instagram is largely, unless you hit the discover button, you are not discovering new people, and new people are not discovering you. Instagram is, I believe, reflects the mindset of the media elite in this country. If you're famous, you're going to stay famous. If you're not famous, you're not going to be famous. Instagram, although we use it, we don't use Instagram. We use every tool available at our disposal to drive people to our YouTube channel. Okay. So we have a YouTube centric approach, because Instagram is like a serfdom. The kings and the nobles in the castle, the Kardashians and the Mark Cubans, they get to stay in the castle. But what chance do you have, right, to actually get out beyond the noise? The way the Instagram algorithm works today, you don't have much of a chance, okay? Now compare that to Twitter. Twitter is a place of snarkiness, snarky one-liners,
Right.
you know, from, again, media elites who are continuing to control these algorithms. And so YouTube, and say what you want about censorship, is still the last free state. It's still the last free bastion. Now, TikTok is gaining ground, and we're paying a lot of attention to TikTok. We're uploading on TikTok. We're growing very fastly on TikTok. But I bring up these other social media networks because they will not provide you with the virality that you need to get your message out. So whether you're a dentist, a coach, or something in between, YouTube is where you're able to make a video that can get out into the world. You're able to make a video that can be 5 to 7 minutes and get people watching for, you know, over and over and over again. You compare that to a 30-minute Facebook Live. Look, everyone's got Zoom fatigue, right? People are tired of logging into these hour-long fests. You know, hey, welcome to the show. Today we're waiting. Nobody has time for that. Nobody wants that anymore, right? Now, I'm not saying don't do Facebook Live. Do whatever you can. Use every tool necessary that you have available to drive traffic to your YouTube channel. But I had a lady tell me the other day, like, look, I use, you know, I'm getting 12,000 views on my Facebook Live. First of all, I went to her Facebook Live. Not a single video had 12,000 views on her Facebook Live, but she did have 5,000, 6,000 views. And I know Facebook Live. I mean, what good is a 3-second view? On Facebook, a view is 3 seconds. So who cares if you have 5,000 of those? That's a Sparkletts jug full of pennies. Well, I've got a savings account. No. It's a Sparkletts jug full of pennies. You know, I got 5,000 views, 3-second views. You know, but when you go onto YouTube, even a 5-minute video that has 50% watch time is 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Let's compare that to 3 seconds, right? Here's 3 seconds. Go. Done. That's 3 seconds. That's how long most people watch your videos. Okay, now let's do 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Ready? Go. No, I'm kidding. We won't do the whole 2 minutes, but you get the point, right? Like, right. There may be new platforms that come up. TikTok is one of them. That's something we should all be keeping our eyes on. But look at TikTok. Is TikTok 30-minute live streams? No. TikTok is under a minute. It's fast content, and it's an awesome opportunity to show, like, to do summaries of your longer videos, your 5-minute videos. So short form content delivered powerfully is going to win, and YouTube is the only place to do that.
And you know what's awesome about YouTube as well is, you know, Owen, for example, has videos that he did years ago that are still getting views to this day because it's such an easily findable platform. Even
videos that aren't relevant anymore. Okay, the software doesn't exist. So I did a video on Google's language translator that's no longer around. Oh, but in that video, I got a comment on it this morning. But in that video, we can add upper links that say, go see the latest version. We can add links in the description box. So I see these companies, and I've seen this a million times, where like a software company will make these videos. These videos will do extremely well, and then they change the font on their software. And so they get rid of all the videos. Don't do that. Like, just make a new video, you know, continue to make videos, you know. That's the thing you've got to focus on. YouTube is where you're going to build your legacy. Facebook's where you're going to waste your time.
Wow. Those are some powerful words, you know. And listeners, I want you to just try and let that sink in for just a minute. Owen isn't talking about creating videos just for today. He used a very powerful word, legacy. It's so important. And we're not just talking about your business as far as your legacy. We're talking about your family legacy as well. All right. So let's just say people are listening and they're convinced. They're like, okay, Owen, I believe you. I believe what you're saying about YouTube, that it is the place to be. Not that I shouldn't be on other social media platforms, but that those should be feeding my YouTube channel. Okay, I buy into that. Now my question is, what's my next step? What do I do? I have nothing. I don't know how to do this. I mean, can I start with something as simple as my iPhone? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what I don't know. What do you say to that person?
Well, I would definitely say that you could start out. I mean, iPhones today have an amazing camera. So, I mean, as far as a starting point, we know a number of people who've started channels that are pretty successful, just starting off with something as simple as, I would say, like a three piece of equipment setup, you know, having a microphone, a decent camera, even if it's just your iPhone, and some sort of a ring light or some sort of light like that.
Yeah, we have an LED light that's on us right now. That was $60, and we use. You can get my microphone is pretty fancy at this point, but you can get the microphone that I've used for years, and the microphone that I see most others using is an ATR 2100. It's a $60 mic, so we're looking at $120. Is that what you're using right now? The ATR, yeah, nice. I love the ATR 2100 because it has an on-off switch for if you have to cough, right, or clear your throat, which can happen. And the kids run into the room. You can just turn the mic off without like having to go into Zoom or to your recorder and turn all that stuff off. It also has an XLR and a 3.5 millimeter adapter, so it can plug into the computer or into your church's karaoke system. Right? Or it can plug into the community center's sound box. So you've got a microphone that now you can use, you know, really anywhere. And it's very, very versatile. You can drop it as we have multiple times. I travel with mine. I don't take my big mic on the road. I take the small mic, the ATR with me. And then we recommend getting, you know, a Logitech C920 webcam, right? Or a Logitech Brio. Now, here's the bad news. If you had bought one a year ago, pre-March, like you would have got it for $60. But these are now going for $150, $200 because of the law of supply and demand. Yeah, like, so we actually have two of them, and we will sell you both for $1,000 right now. Just go to owenvideo.com. No, I'm kidding. That's kind of what's happening though on Upwork with weights right now. You know what I mean? Is the price of lifting weights and dumbbells is just like skyrocketed.
Oh yeah.
But again, it's those three pieces of equipment are fine. Now, can you use your phone? Yeah, absolutely use your phone because it's the message that matters. You know, it's the message that matters. And I see people like spending tons of money on their cameras, or people just schlepping their phones up, but spending zero time on the message. And the message takes two parts, okay? First is the delivery of the message, and that is really key. Remember, this is not a live scenario that we're talking about. I love live video. We do live video, but we're not talking about live. We're talking about a YouTube pre-recorded video channel. And so the first part of the messaging is getting it into the camera correctly, okay? The second part of that is getting it onto YouTube correctly, okay? And that's where sort of either editing comes in, or, I mean, we say editing and you get all these thoughts in your head of like, oh my gosh, editing, but really editing is taking all the puzzle pieces and just laying them out onto a software that can export them into an MP4, right? It's laying bricks. It's not a big thing. And so we recommend the Great Video Formula, okay? And what this is a 5-step process that you memorize the process and you'll never have to memorize another video. Right. So here's how that works. You take your topic. Let's say your topic is, how to make a cup of coffee. And you're going to follow the Great Video Formula to deliver a good video, right? GREAT. You're going to grab attention. You're going to relate to the viewer, R. You're going to explain the solution, explain your solution to this is the meat of your video. A, you're going to provide an actual story or actual proof to go along with that. And then T, you're going to tell them what to do next. So if you can follow that process, then all you need to do is put up your camera and say, okay, grab attention. Do it 3 times. Say the hook 3 times. Get it into the camera correctly. Okay, you're going to go through that process. Then when you edit, you're going to take the best G section and put it in the editor. You're going to take the best R section and put it in the editor. The best E, the best A, and the best T, you put it in the editor, you export it. Now you've got a video that emphasizes your best while also being consumable for the viewer.
Right, and you can do this all at your desk, which is awesome. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you're working with clients, you're doing stuff at your workstation, and then you get a whim of inspiration. Maybe you just got off the phone with a client.
That's really good.
And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what we were talking about would make a great video. Then right then and there, you've got your Logitech
just do it.
You got your microphone, just turn it on and get it out.
You can use Zoom, you can use Loom, you can use Camtasia is our favorite system, because with Camtasia, you can edit it just like a Zoom call, like a script. You can record it like a Zoom call, and then it opens up in an editor where you can just like get the best parts, and get it out there. So, you know, follow. And in fact, if anybody listening wants that formula, we have a printable PDF version that you can print out and actually tape to your wall or tape to underneath your camera. Go to my Instagram page. Okay, go to my Instagram at Owen Video and comment with the word "great" on our most recent post. Okay, comment with the word "great" on our most recent post, and then we'll respond back to you, and we'll send you a PDF that you can print out with a script and all sorts of just good guides to help you going.
Absolutely. And listeners, I want to make sure that you know this. Anything that Owen Video, the company, is talking about today, we'll be sure to include in the show notes. So if you're on a run or you're driving, please don't write this down. Just,
Please don't.
Let's just be safe out there, people, while we're listening. So just enjoy what everybody's saying and take it in, breathe it in.
But I will say this too, like Owen Video isn't the company name. The company name is actually thevideospot.net.
VideoMarketingSchool.com.
No, the product is called the Video Marketing School. Okay. So I know this might sound confusing, but I want you guys to know, like, Owen Video is me, right? Okay. It's me when I'm here, right? Like Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person, but there's a time when he's Batman and there's a time when he's Bruce Wayne, right? Like when I'm at church and my hands are up and I'm worshiping the Lord, that's Owen Hemsath. You know what I mean? When I'm playing with my kids on the ground and we're wrestling around, that's Owen Hemsath. But when I'm spitting mad lyrics about how to grow on YouTube and to build $1 million business, you're talking to Owen Video. You know, and I say that, John, because you know, you are who you are, and I feel like there's so many Bruce Waynes listening to this right now, and it's time for you to freaking put on the Batman suit, dude. Like it's time for you to like step out of this. Oh, I'm Jim Smith, the kid who got picked on in high school, and I'm going to show everybody that I'm important now. Like it's time for you to leave that guy at home and step out into who you were made to be. Now, for me, I decided to choose a different professional name. I'm not saying you have to do that, but do it in here. Do it in your mind. Do it in your heart. You know what I mean? And review that as a family. You know, like our Hemsath name is all over our house. And we raise our kids with this energy and the spirit of this is what Hemsaths do, right? Like our kids know Hemsaths lead. Hemsaths are not followers. And you can look at my family to see that. Like the people in my family, extended family that are followers have not done well in this world. The Hemsaths, cousins, uncles, aunts, my dad that have chosen to lead, we have all accomplished our wildest dreams. I never thought, don't get me wrong, your dreams grow. As you accomplish your dreams, they grow. But my big dream as like a high school kid, young adult, was to be a regular contributor on the news with some type of successful public career, right? When I was in high school, I thought I would be an actor, right? And that's okay. So again, acting career, but also like a James Franco, in the eye of the public, everyone loves me. That changed when I got into college and I wanted to become a lawyer and become a regular contributor on the news, right? But again, successful career with a public facing self. As I got into YouTube, I accomplished that dream by building a successful YouTube channel that was public and front facing. So I was both of those things. But as of this day today, I am a regular contributor to the San Diego News. They call me all the time. And I realized years ago that I had accomplished my childhood dream. And that just liberates your soul to say, what's then next? You know, and our dreams have grown since then. We have bigger dreams now, and I can't wait till the day we realize we've accomplished those too. So your name matters. You know, your name matters, and I'd love for you guys all to think about like your superhero. Like, who is your pseudonym? Like who are you when you put on the bat suit? You know, and be that person more.
I love that. I love that analogy that you are Batman and Bruce Wayne at the same time. It just depends on, you can't be Batman necessarily when you're around the social elites. You got to be Bruce Wayne at that time. So it's just knowing when's the time to put on the costume.
Yeah. And it's flipped, right? I'm Owen Video in the social elites, but like at home, that's when I don't need to be the loudest one in the room. That's when I don't need to be making, cogent points, and I can just be, and I can just absorb and take all that input and then put that into my work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Theresa, you mentioned earlier the YouTube Authority Intensive. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So this is a coaching program that we put together probably the end of last year because we were finding that there were a lot of people that were on Facebook Live or in YouTube who knew about video. They have a successful business, and they were doing things with video, but they weren't getting the results that they wanted. But they weren't beginners either. They didn't not know what tech to use and that.
Good video. Right? They had good videos, right. But 7 views.
Right. And they needed to have a brand presence that actually reflected who they were, because they were, sometimes you have to have a match, right? So we created this program really for them. And what that does is really, it walks them through our Video Pro process, which is a process that Owen has just fine-tuned, because what makes our team different is that we're not just creating video, we're also business owners. And there's a lot of video creators on there, YouTube experts out there, that's all they do. They work on one video a week. They don't have a business outside of it. They can spend every day, all working.
Or maybe a small business out of it. And that's important too, because a lot of these guys with 1 million subs, 2 million subs, they don't make a ton of money. And so they go, well, I'll coach you too. And as a business owner, you got to think about that. Like, are you someone else's you too, or are you someone else's primary focus?
Right.
And our business model is we coach. We happen to have a YouTube channel that's been very successful.
And so that's what makes, I think, us relate, I think, a lot more to these people as well that we that enroll in the program, is because we know what they're going through. They have a business that they have clients to see, they have teams to work with and so forth. And so they need to have their YouTube channel. They need to leverage their YouTube channel to be able to drive that. And so this Video Pro system that we've developed is really based on that. It's based on, having your own business and having a YouTube channel and being able to go through this whole process systematically so that you're not burned out, that it's effective.
It's like an equilibrium, right? Like, I'm trying to think of a good sort of fluid or electricity, like the electricity in your house. It's all part of a system with lines going in and lines going out, and a grounded line and a neutral. And that's like your business, and with electricity in the house, if one thing is wrong, the lights don't work. If another thing's don't wrong, your house could burn down, right? It could be, you could have stuff going on in the walls you didn't even know about. So your business is the same way, right? You've got to do the business, the admin, the finance, you've got to do the fulfillment, you got to do the sales and the marketing, right? But then you've also got to go home and be a dad, be a mom, be a boyfriend, right? Whatever the case might be. Maybe you're heavily involved in your church and you're doing this, you've got this community part to what you're doing as well.
Right.
All of that stuff matters. One of my good clients, Rich Sparks, has a phenomenal channel on YouTube called Time to Downsize, where he helps sort of aging parents, work with their kids to downsize their home. He's a scoutmaster. And he runs a group of Boy Scouts that are out doing hiking and stuff. And so we understand you guys are like super busy. So what this 4-step process is designed to do is help you get rid of the waste in your business, right? The things that aren't driving any impact. And I'll tell you, the things that drive the less impact are probably the things you're spending the most time on. We see it all the time where it's like, but I like this, right. And I'm not here to say, hey, stop doing this. I'm here to just let you know the truth. Like, hey, what you're doing here is not driving any impact. Continue doing it if you choose. But my coaching, this is always what I say, is my coaching is to do X, Y, and Z. And you paid me, you hired me as your coach, right? So it's up to you to make the decision.
Sure.
And I get a big commitment from my people right off the bat. And I don't always get it from them right off the bat. Sometimes it's like, I'll let you know. But here's the commitment that I ask my clients to sort of come on board with is, like, will you do the things that are necessary to do, or are you going to scoff at what that doesn't work for me, right? And And we do have, I mean, we kind of have clients that come on board, they never show up, they don't do the work. It's always someone else's fault, or it's always, I'm so important. Oh, well, Owen, I couldn't make it to the call because I'm so important. But that they don't say important. What's the word they use?
Busy.
Busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy. My client needed me, right? And it's, what do I care? You know what I mean? It's not what you hired me for.
Whereas the ones who are successful are the ones who are coachable, the ones who get in the program and they follow the 4 parts of our system.
And they sacrifice. They make sacrifices. They say, you know, like Rich Sparks was multi-streaming onto every platform using a phenomenal software called Restream. And he was using this to go live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter everywhere at the same time, getting 7 views on every platform, but then come to me and say, oh, I got 100 views today. But 100 views divided across 10 platforms is no bueno. I was like, dude, stop Restreaming. Stop now. Now, Restream's a great company. We use it, but
the way that he was using
that's not your strategy. Let's focus on YouTube, right? And his first upload on YouTube got 150 views, and to this day is the 3rd ranking video for that keyword on search. Wow. Right? That one video. So it doesn't take long. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take long to get the result as long as you're following that video pro, that 4-step process,
which it really involves, you know, programming and the programming and angle that's set up to actually attract your audience so you can actually get those views. The production, which really goes into like what's in the video, how are you, you know, constructing your
the logistics of getting the video made. Yeah, when do you film and who puts it together and the production aspect, you know.
And then the promotion of it, you know, because there are methods to promote it. And then, you know, continually progressing, being able to look at your analytics and going, okay, what is this teaching me? Because YouTube tells you what you need to do to improve, but you got to know how to read it and understand it and then what to change with it. So we walk through the whole process. It's over 12 weeks. And, you know, we keep it very intimate. So there's a lot of opportunity for them as they're implementing to get Owen and my eyeballs on their work so they can continually make tweaks and make it better and better. So that by the time they're done with the 12 weeks, they're ready to go. We're not one of those believers that you have to be married to.
We don't want to do like a monthly payment forever.
So you can go and run your business and get
back to fly. You got to get out of the nest. And here's the thing: some of our clients really start flying, and right away. And you know, I'll say this: that a good percentage of them come back for another 12 weeks. Just to be a part of the accountability again, to be a part of the contests again, right? Because we put our clients in groups and then we have them do contests, who can get the most views, who can write the most videos, and just to have that accountability. But there's also, you know, here's the thing. It's like, it's one thing to master the 4-part system: programming, production, promotion, and progress. But then what about profitability? You know, like, so now you can make a video and it doesn't burn you out. You've reached this equilibrium where the electricity is running around and everything's great, you know, but then how do you double that, right? How do you get brands to come in? And yes, if you're a business owner, if you're a lawyer, if you're like, you know, a coach, you can have brands sponsor your content, right? We think of brand sponsorship as like only for like the sort of Hollywood stars of YouTube, right? That's not the case. Like, yeah, they make more money for sure. I got a buddy, it's $40,000 a video to mention someone else's brand, but you could easily be making $500 to $1,000 per video just by mentioning a sponsor's name. Hey, this video is sponsored by, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you do that? How do you attract the brands? You know, that's why our successful clients tend to come aboard again and again to continue learning, because there's so much opportunity on YouTube, right? Like, another aspect is now, how do I get on the news from here? You know, Owen, how did you get on the news? You know, and we teach that, but we don't teach it to beginners. Look, if you can't crush a video, if you can't crush 1 video a week or 2 videos a month, then you're not going to get on the news. You know what I mean? Like, you've got nothing to speak of. So you have to build that platform first. And we even build towards getting on the news and getting brand deals. And so once you've built out like these, you know, required, you know, 25 videos, you got to have these 25 videos on your channel. Then you can start building to that next level.
And then, you know, what's going to get you to your first 1,000 subscribers is going to be different than what gets you to your 10,000 subscribers. So there's leveling up as well. And Owen teaches those strategies.
We have a client right now that came to us with 2,000 subscribers, took her maybe like 2,300 subscribers, just to be fair, and
by the time the 12 weeks were
by
done.
the time the 12 weeks was done, she had doubled that. She came on for another 12 weeks, and we are looking at hitting 10,000 subscribers by December 31st. So, I said by the end of the year. So in the next 2.5 months. Okay.
Sure.
So the thing is that it took her 18 months to get to 2,300, and
on her own.
And we're going to have 3x that by the time her tenure is done. And that was just in 6 months. So, when you have a coach and you follow the program, YouTube success is not a mystery. It's not something that's only for the super rich. It's not something that's only for, super good filmmakers. Being successful on YouTube is about taking steps. And if you follow those steps, even if you do them poorly, you'll achieve success, right? The levels of success and the speed of success, those things do change with, I've been a filmmaker for 10 years, right? Peter McKinnon's got 5 million subscribers, and he kind of sort of appeared overnight, it seems like, on YouTube. But the guy had been making videos teaching magic tricks for 15 years, right? He's been doing this, just not publicly, right? Gotcha. So, that's the thing, is that if you come in with a lot of experience and you're good on camera and you're not afraid to hire an editor for $250 a month, or you're not afraid to edit yourself for a half an hour of video, then you'll have success quickly. If you're a little more timid, and it might take you a couple extra weeks to get out of the timidness, but you get my point. If you follow it's mathematics. If you follow these things, you'll have success on YouTube. It's an algorithm, people. It's not, it's not Sergey watching video. A lot of people think that YouTube is watching your videos and making sure that you don't say the word Republican, you don't say the word Trump, and you don't say, they're not censoring you to that degree. Okay, that's not happening, right? And I'm saying that because even people that are doing channels on health and fitness, but have conservative leanings, feel like they'll get banned. And it's not the way it works. It is a computer system. Here's the thing. Don't say the word gun. Don't say the word kill. Don't say KKK, and certain things like this, and you will have success. It's a mathematical equation, right? And what does it come down to? It comes down to 4 primary skills: programming, knowing what videos to make; 2, production, getting them up on a regular basis, whether it's once a week or twice a month; promotion, bringing other people to the party, making sure that you add tags, making sure that you share this on Facebook and Instagram, all part of your regularly scheduled program, because our goal is not to make your Facebook fans YouTube subscribers, but our goal is to let Facebook know that you are on YouTube now. Yeah. Right? Even if people don't click, they still see it. They still see it. They still see it. That's promotion. And then progress, measuring your numbers. If you do a video where you dressed up in a rabbit suit and it didn't do well, don't do that again. Right? Yeah. If you're doing these long emotional openings, like today I want to tell a story about when I was a kid, blah, 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 and there's a big dip, stop doing that. One of the big problems that entrepreneurs have is they want to do it their way, no matter what. And that is not how you do it, right? You make a piece, you do the piece you want, you put it out there. What were your results? What did people like or not like? The stats will tell you, right? Now you adjust. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit less of this, a little bit more of that, and I'm learning too, as we go. I've been making videos for 5-6 years, and I'm still learning, because the people that subscribed to me 5 years ago are not watching anymore today, right? It's a new audience. It's new people. And so I'm learning what the new people want and adjusting to them. I'm not giving myself away. I haven't sold my soul to the devil like Tommy Johnson, right? Who traded the devil for the ability to play guitar, right? That's not what we're doing. We're simply delivering our message in the best way possible for the people that are watching.
And listeners, oh my gosh, there is so much in what the Owen video. I know that's your name. It's really confusing me to keep saying it that way. So
you can say
what Owen and Theresa are sharing with us, they've shared so much with us. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this at least 4 or 5 times, because I know I need to be writing down notes and to be able to get things out of it. There's so much good stuff. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, I would love to have you guys on again. That way we can go deeper into certain specific aspects of the things that you do and the various programs that you offer, because it is platinum isn't even a good enough word. I mean, I'm going above gold. I'm going way up there, man.
Actually, I'm a utilitarian. I'm a pragmatist. Like, I'm all about stainless steel right now. I'm like, it looks just like silver,
Okay.
But it doesn't scratch.
Well, if that works for you, perfect. But there's so much good stuff here. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't very briefly ask you guys before we get to our final 4, just about the home dynamic, because relationships is a big part of what we talk about on here and what that's like for you, especially being entrepreneurs. What's that dynamic like between the two of you, and how does that translate into your family as well?
Well, I would say is knowing the difference of when you're speaking to one another as business partners and when you're speaking to one another as husband and wife, and really mastering the art of not really allowing the two to cross over. Because when you do, sometimes there is some messiness that can happen, and we've had to grow through that for sure.
Yeah.
So, kind of taking on our husband and wife hat and then putting on our business partner hat and being able to navigate, I think, that way.
Yeah.
What would you add to that?
Yeah, I think that's true. Like, there's business hours. Like, I think a big cause of our fights, and we do fight. We fight passionately, like we fight like the War of the Roses, sometimes we have passionate fights. We're both passionate people. Like, they're laughing at me.
Passionate.
But
yeah.
I feel like if you can't scream at somebody and then, go to dinner with them, then you don't really have a friendship. You know what I mean? And it might take 2 or 3 days, like not in our house. Like we tend to not let the sun go down on our anger. But we do have these really passionate fights. And I find like most of those happen when like you're wearing the business hat during family time, or you're wearing a family hat during business time.
Yes.
Right. And this is a big thing for us. And I think a big challenge with sort of the lockdowns that have happened is that, husband and wife are trapped together wearing both hats at the same time. And I think that what you really need to do is divide the daylight, right? Like there needs to be time where your wife is doing her job, and there's times when you are doing your job. There's times when your wife is being a mom and a wife, and there's times when you're being a dad and a husband. Mm-hmm. And you have to like separate those times. Now, it would be great if you could all be the same times, like, but they're not always. So like my wife tends to be wearing her business hat, first couple of hours. Well, I'll change it. You're wearing your mom and wife hat first couple hours of the day while I'm in my business hat. So then I come upstairs when the kids leave and I'm like, oh, I've been doing work for 3 hours. That will cause a fight. It's like, look, she just got to work. Right. So my conversation, even though she's been at the house all day, right? So I need to come up there and be more like, hey, welcome to work. Like, can I get you a cup of coffee while you're getting settled in, right? And then it's the same like yesterday. You said, hey, can you read with Benjamin? And I said, I really can't, right? Because I just got off of work and I need to just like not work for a little bit. You know what I mean? And so I actually went to the lake and walked around there. But then you come home and you're wearing dad hat, right? So, it's going to stagger, but it's up to you to create time buckets during the day where your dad time, your work time, and so on and so forth, so that you can create the best equilibrium, right? The electricity in your house. And again, you ever emptied a fish tank? This is the kind of a good analogy. Right. So, you have to empty a fish tank. You have to like get the water, like suck the water out of the tube. Like you got to put a tube in the tank and then half the tube's out of the tank. And you have to kind of suck through the tube a little bit to get the flow going.
Right.
And that might take a little bit. You might get a little fish water in your mouth. But here's the thing is like, that's a business. Like you got to try. It's a business from home with your wife. It's like, you got to try like 10 a.m., like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. We'll do this. And like, did that work? Right. Mm-hmm. If it's not working, okay, now we're going to try 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I'm going to try 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And let's see how that goes. And you'll find this equilibrium, and it will be unlike anybody else's. It will be unique to you, but you'll find that you wake up happy, you're productive during the day, your marriage is thriving, and you go to bed happy. Like when all those things happen, you know, you've reached equilibrium. Keep doing that till it fails to work.
I think also just being realistic about recognizing that you do need time. Most people do need time to switch from one to the other.
Yeah.
There's a transition period.
Yes.
And, you know, when you're working in a traditional work, you know, you typically have a commute or something where, you know, you're listening to your podcast in the car and you get home and by the time you get home, you've pushed away the day and now you're ready to enter that other role in your life. But when you're running a business together or when you're home all day long doing your different work because of COVID and now you're both, if you don't have some transition time, you're gonna have some conflict. So even just saying, hey, you know, from 4 to 4:30, I'm gonna go to the lake or I'm gonna go into my room and just put on some music and close the door and just let me be. It's not you. It's just me needing to push that time away so that I'm ready and I can be the best me that I can be for this next, you know, chunk of time in our family as husband and wife or as, you know, as business partners and so forth.
Absolutely. All right. So before I'm going to get to the final four real fast, and there are 4 quick questions. Just tell me the first thing that pops in your head. How do folks find you guys?
We're everywhere on the web at Owen Video, or you can visit thevideomarketingschool.com to learn more about our programs.
Fantastic. All right. So here we go. Here's our final 4. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the first one. Now each of you will need to answer. Okay. So for Owen and Theresa, why did God create each one of you?
Ooh. Okay. So for me, I would say it's to mentor and to share my experiences with others to help them be able to do more in life.
But it's not though. It's young women. It's young married women.
Well, yes, I think I was general with that, but yes, obviously people that I could relate to. So young married women for sure.
Okay.
Mothers. Wives.
And, you know, I was born to be a leader. And I was born to do kingdom work, right? For those of you guys that know what that means. I haven't yet found a strategy for that. And I pray about it often, because I know that I'm on the right path, but the Bible says God will light your step, right? Like your word is a lamp to my feet. A lamp doesn't light up the whole hallway. It lights up just that next step. And so we know what we're supposed to be doing now, but in the future, is it working with churches? Is it mentoring young Christian men? Is it being a Billy Graham type? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
That's awesome. And that sounds like a definite another discussion in the future for sure. All right. Question number 2. What are you both reading or listening to right now that's helping you grow?
Okay, so one of the things that we're doing is the Love Dare for parents.
Yeah. Okay.
We've done the Love Dare before for husband and wife, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's
anybody
really good.
Who's never, you got to do that. It's amazing for marriages. But yeah, they came out with one for parents and really looking at how to love your children deeper and more in a more Christ-like fashion. So we're doing that together in the evenings. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm reading Good to Great.
Yeah.
So Good to Great is by Jim Collins. I'm actually audibling it. Audible, here's the thing. When you read a book, your voice is saying it to your head. When you audible a book, someone else's voice is saying it to your head. So, there's sort of this you audible, screw you, pal. Audible's awesome. I finished 10 books this year. You know what I mean? How many books did you read, Mr. Reader? You know what I mean? And I'm being a little bit silly here, but I love Audible. I think everybody should have Audible. We require our employees to have Audible so that they're growing as they continue to work with us. So I'm reading a book called Good to Great that examines the 15 greatest companies of the early 2000s. And that's determined by beating the marketplace by a certain percentage points, what they did, the common similarities. And I'm always reading. I'm typically reading a spiritual book, and I'm reading a business book every day.
Perfect. All right. What is your favorite thing to do as a family and as a couple? Favorite thing to do together.
Yeah.
So we, as a family, really like to hike, and that's actually one of the many reasons that we actually moved to Utah. We actually were living in San Diego. I lived in San Diego for 23 years, and like a month ago, 2 months ago, we packed up and we moved to Utah. We've got family out here, but there's tons of beautiful mountains and streams and lakes. And as a family, we love
I would have said sitting on the couch watching TV. Like that's really like when it like, yeah, we hike sometimes, but every day, every night we're on the couch watching sitcoms. I love watching old sitcoms. Like they don't make sitcoms anymore, but like I've introduced my kids to Family Matters, Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
We're watching Everybody Hates Chris, the Goldbergs. We love watching that. As far as what we love to do together, I would say sex.
Okay, there we go. We're being real. I love it, man. Yes. All right. So, and lastly, what are you most grateful for?
Sex.
I figured that.
And I would say our family for sure. Moving out here to Utah, we've got our kids, but we also have, and I have my family out in San Diego. It was wonderful to have them for so long. But I'm having an opportunity now in Utah to be able to get to know Owen's family more. And they're just wonderful people. And so this is a new place in my life, and I'm very thankful for it.
I'm grateful to live in America. I'm grateful to live in the freest country in the entire world. I am grateful that when I had cancer, I was able to get an X-ray, not in 2 months, not in 6 months, but that week. I'm grateful that CT scans are available to me and I'm able to pay cash for them. I'm able to make payments for them. I'm able to have insurance pay for it. I saw somebody's posted today that said, like, why would anybody want the American healthcare system? An X-ray is $4,000. And it's like, sure, an X-ray tomorrow is $4,000, but you can get an X-ray for $1,000 at the clinic if you want. Like it was, to me, it was a very monolithic view of the American healthcare system, which is amazing. But you know what? Like you could be born a pauper and through YouTube become a prince in a year. In America, you cannot do that in Europe, and people don't understand that it doesn't work that way. Europe is Instagram. If you're rich now, you'll be rich tomorrow. If you're not, you're not. Period. Right? Unless someone from the royal family decides to marry you, that's it. Right? People don't understand how amazing this country is. It's amazing that you could be someone like Donald Trump and ascend to the highest office in the country. It's amazing that you could speak out freely against him and not be jailed by him, and what I mean by that is you are free to live any lifestyle you want here. And you are free to speak out against any lifestyle that you want here for the most part. I think that we're seeing some censorship things happening. And I think that we're seeing some things that I don't like to see, but we're fighting it out. We're battling it out, and we get to participate in that process. And so, I am extremely grateful to live in America. And I feel like it's easier to see that the higher that you go, because I was born in a 2-bedroom duplex with 7 of us living in, maybe 1,000 square feet for 14 years. I lived there. My dad was a painter before he became a UPS driver. My dad now makes $500,000 a year. He owns his home. He owns an RV. He owns an ATV. Like he owns all the toys. And his oldest son, who was born into poverty, addicted to drugs, been to jail 4 times, has become, a recognized YouTube authority and a regular contributor to the San Diego News. That is a beautiful thing. And I say, God bless America.
Amen.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better myself. Well, listeners, you have been given a treat today from Theresa and Owen. They are amazing people. They've shared, and they just scratched the surface of all the things they could be sharing. And so I very much am going to try hard to get them to come on to be regular contributors to what we're doing here, because I believe in what they're doing. And I am going to be putting my money behind my mouth, which they don't know about yet. So we are going to be forming some alliances, I think, very much in the near future, and making some amazing things happen, not just for one another, but for all of you as well. So thank you all for being here. I'm so thrilled that you chose to spend some time with us today, both you listeners, as well as you, Theresa and Owen.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thanks, bro.
All right. You all have a fantastic day, and thanks for tuning in. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Relationships and Revenue podcast with John Hewlin. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.